Welcome back, everybody, to Caravan of Garbage, where we're talking about the Thing movies.
That's right.
We've already covered the first two.
In a manner of speaking, we have, yes. We're talking about that guy that was on fire.
Yeah.
Which covers all these movies, really.
Absolutely. So for this one, which came out in 2011, please leave a like, obviously. The studio...
For that fun fact, for that gem of information, for that absolute
You're
gold
welcome.
nugget, it came out in 2011.
Uh-huh.
We've done our research.
Yep, people think we don't, but we do.
That's right.
So they were knocking around the idea of doing something with the Thing.
Yeah.
It did build that following,
Yeah.
which obviously didn't
Should we do a
translate
live
here.
service game? We haven't invented those yet. Damn it.
How are we going to make money? Or well, we won't, which is what they did with this. So, yeah, a remake was considered, but it was thought, how do you really beat the original? You do a prequel, and you make it mostly the same.
Well, I was going to say, this is an uphill battle because the original, not successful at the time, but has become a cult classic.
Yeah.
And now you have to Force Awakens it before The Force Awakens. You have to make a movie that is a follow-up, 30 years later, that is also a prequel, that is also essentially a remake for all the people who didn't see the last one.
Yes.
And they did all right.
It's okay.
It's okay, isn't it? It's pretty okay.
Yeah.
I tell you this, James. For a movie that was filmed in around 2010,
Yeah.
they did a very good job, I think, production-wise, cinematography-wise, and like character actor-wise, to make it feel like it's set in 1982.
I agree.
With the exception of one guy. And you already know which guy it is.
You.
But it's one actor who's the most 2010 guy who's ever existed.
Wait, I don't.
He's
Which one?
got a face. He's got a face that just screams he knows what an iPod Nano is. It's Eric Christian Olsen.
Oh, okay.
You know that
Yeah,
guy.
okay. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
And this is not a knock on him. I think he's great. But he did a lot of like teen comedies and movies
God.
and TV shows in the late 90s to like the early
That's
2000s.
so true.
And then, to my eye, he dropped off the map. But I can tell you, without looking it up, I would bet you $100 that he has spent the last decade working on a wildly popular TV drama that I just have never seen.
I literally just looked it
He's
up.
on Blue Bloods or he's on...
No, he was on NCIS Los Angeles
Yes, I
from
knew it.
2009 to 2023.
I knew it. Because you can't let that charisma go to waste.
No, you gotta
But-
put it
but
somewhere.
he couldn't have just gone.
No,
He either retired or he's done that. And good on him.
Good on him. God, he does know what an iPad is.
But like by contrast, I don't think Joel Edgerton knows what an iPod looks like now.
Absolutely not. Probably lives in Balan or some shit.
I bet he does. Right? Or Romsey.
Oh my God, you reckon?
But he lives in Romsey.
God, he has to pop into LA every now and then, but he's not happy about it, is he?
His heart's in Romsey.
Also, I'm impressed with the casting in terms of they got a bunch of actual Norwegians.
Yeah. Well, see, that is also that it would be the difficulty of this movie, of course, because it's set in the remote Norwegian base. That is a contrast to the American base in the first movie. But you're going to make an American movie that's mostly it's all Norwegians? You can't do that. Got to have some Americans.
Yeah.
Got to contrive a way for some Americans to be in there.
Exactly. I think also, and this is by design because they chopped a bunch of stuff out of this, they are fairly interchangeable. A bunch of the character stuff has been edited out for brevity, which I don't think does it any favors. But also, there's too many of them.
Right,
I think
yeah.
there's too many people in this in general.
You need a bunch of guys to explode randomly
Yeah,
to just
true.
burst open and just...
In the book, there's the
Oh,
original
book, here we
book.
go.
Here we
Yes,
go.
sure.
There's 27. And I
Okay.
think they thought, what if we did something like that? But I think however many's in the first one, 10, 12. But of course, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is great.
Great.
She's inspired by Alan Ripley, but she's just Kurt Russell's character.
She is, yeah.
Does all the stuff, the tests, the paranoia,
You know what?
running the show.
I
love her as well. I
Yeah,
think she's great.
I think they kind of split duties of her and Joel Edgerton. Like they each got half of the
Okay.
Kurt Russell character.
Well, there's a lot to it.
Right? There's even a moment right at the end.
Where they hold hands and they pour a glass of whiskey onto a computer together.
Yes, exactly. That's right. But there's a moment where they're both in like one of those snowcats together.
Yeah.
And Joel Edgerton's like, "Ugh," and he's got a real Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the vibe of when Kurt Russell goes, ugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Kurt Russell, they used his height as an estimate when rebuilding the Norwegian camp to be like how big everything is.
Huh.
Yeah, because they obviously didn't have exact specs. Also, the Norwegian camp in the original movie, it's just the burnt out sets from the one that they used, the main
Yeah,
one.
right, uh-huh.
They just filmed all that stuff at the end. Also, as you probably know, this was fraught with disaster and danger and interference.
I didn't know that.
Well, as you now know,
Wow.
this was fraught with disaster and danger and interference. It was originally set for release in April of 2011, but the studio demanded extensive reshoots, which included new CGI effects, re-editing scenes for a possible PG-13 release, which didn't happen, and an entirely different climax and resolution.
Okay. It feels like they've cleaned it up. There is a moment where one of the men who's suspected of being the Thing is shot to death, and he was the Thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas in the previous one, of course, as we mentioned, Kurt Russell shoots a guy he thinks might be the Thing, and he wasn't the Thing.
He was a
So
guy.
now Kurt Russell's just a murderer. Like, they wouldn't take those chances in a modern movie now, I don't think.
You're probably right, yeah. I think in terms of some of the reveals about who the Thing is and isn't are good. There's a moment in the helicopter where Joel Edgerton's flying him out and one guy is sick. And you're like, oh,
well, he's the Thing.
He's the Thing.
He's got Thing sickness.
Yeah.
He's got Thingfluenza. It's going to be him, isn't it? But then it's the other guy.
Yeah, but it's the other guy. And the thing about that is, and all the transformations, they were originally done practically.
Well, I was going to say that is the key to this, because obviously the previous one, the 80s one, is so beloved because they went all out on these bizarre practical effects. And if you're going to do the movie again, you either supersede those or you don't bother.
Yeah.
And so what you're saying here is that they tried it practically initially. And do we know what any of that looked like?
Yeah, there is some of it, some
Yeah.
behind the scenes footage of it. And I remember seeing an interview with one of the people who worked on it, because they used like cable operated animatronics. And the idea was also when you did that on set, you get a better performance because, you know, obviously that's happening in real time.
You spook the actors and they go, Yeah.
And they were going to use some CGI to kind of add some tentacles and some, you know, some bits and pieces.
Tentacles and testicles and so forth.
Exactly.
All the ickles you need.
Yeah.
Icicles.
Icicles.
All
that's
the
right.
ickles you need in the Arctic, yeah.
All the ickles. A lot of ickles out in the cold. But apparently the audience response to the test screening was that it looks too much like an 80s horror movie.
Oh, no.
And the studio felt the same, but that's the point of something like this,
Well,
right?
not in 2010, 2011.
It
You
rea-
wanted 2010 guys and you wanted 2010 effects. State-of-the-art guys and effects.
It really suffers.
I mean, I
And
didn't
it's
hate it on a rewatch.
No, I didn't hate it. It's too fast as well. The way they explode and sprint, I think, takes away from it.
Yeah, and I
There's
think-
a couple of good ones when, like, the hand drops off and,
and it
scuttles away.
But also, I feel like they just went, we're not going to innovate here. And
Yeah.
that makes sense. You want the Thing, you know, to be internally consistent. You want it to correlate with the old The Thing. But I think also they maybe didn't. It felt like they were afraid to do anything new. Like the arm coming off and becoming its own little monster.
Like a spider head.
It's the spider head thing again,
Yeah.
right? You know? I mean, you know, I thought a lot of it was fun. You know, like you mentioned, the guy in the helicopter when half of his head comes off and like...
It looks good till he completely explodes, and then I think it's like a bit
seems a
wonky.
little fast.
Yeah, I think it's in an era where, well, two things kind of happened. One, they had to rush it and put it over the top of something else. And effects like this, they're not quite there. And I think that makes a huge difference. I mean, there's a moment where a woman who's got like a mouth torso is like sprinting down a corridor. And I'm just like, this doesn't feel right. There's something about this which doesn't quite come together.
Something that I did appreciate, I think there is a moment where the Thing starts to meld with another
Yes.
person, and I thought that effect was quite good.
Yep.
You know, we kind of see its absorbing ability. You know, that was cool and spooky, I
Pretty
thought.
cool and spooky.
But I mean, of course, you could just do that with...
They
Get
did.
a rubber mask and two rubber masks and stick them together.
That's what they initially did, and they had it kind of roll over the real guy, NCIS Joe.
Sure.
And and it seems as if, and maybe that's why people didn't respond to it, a lot of these effects and changes are done in broad daylight or under pretty intense lighting. So maybe that's why they thought, oh, this doesn't look real, because you can really see that it's not quite
Yeah, maybe.
the same as the original. I don't know. But of course, there are a bunch of reshoots on this, including up to 2 weeks before the film opened in theaters in October to when it was pushed. This was due to the studio's last-minute demands and included additional CGI and post-production effects right up to 24 hours before it was released theatrically.
24 hours?
Yeah, it's pretty... I don't know. I can see why it is the way it is.
Yeah,
you know?
right, uh-huh.
But I think there is some stuff in here which is sort of new and also sort of...
Go on.
like harkens back to the original.
Oh, it harkens back. I will tell you one thing that harkens back. Both research bases have clearly bought all their equipment from the same guy. It's Crazy Dave's discount flamethrowers that work until you really need them to work. Then they break down, and then you jiggle the tubes and the gaskets and stuff, and then they work again, but it's too late and stuff. You been there?
Yeah, one of the things I think, which is a callback to the original, you know how they have the blood test, which is basically just, it's not a blood test, they just basically put a hot
Yeah.
paperclip into a thing.
It's the hot paperclip test.
Yeah, that's right. They're doing a dental check.
Sure,
to
yes.
see who's got fillings because the thing can't replicate organic matter. I mean, thank God for poor dental hygiene.
Absolutely.
You know, from the 60s,
I say
70s,
that every
and
day.
80s. Yeah, I know, right? You love it. And also in confirming that the thing can't replicate inorganic things, including earrings, that means that Childs is not the thing.
Oh,
Because he has an earring at the end when he rolls in, you can see it. I mean, the thing you'd think could put it in.
Yeah, hey, this was on the other guy. I better put it in there.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess
The
not.
thing's such a dumbass.
It really
but
is.
It's culture can build that incredible CGI spaceship, but it can't figure out what an earring is.
No, it really can't.
You idiot.
God. Actually, that's one bit which is different and I didn't mind. So it culminates in they go back to the ship. And that's not just the same ending again. I mean, it kind of is. But they go to the ship and you get to see this alien craft.
Isn't
and
it
all of
amazing in the previous one? The thing was just trying to rebuild that with just like assorted pots and pans and found in the base. Yeah, man, that's really going to work, I reckon. That'll really get you out of the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah.
You
A
dumbass.
TV antenna at a microwave dinner or whatever he was up to.
The remnants of the chess wizard computer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I thought, oh, that's right. They go to the ship. That's cool. That's a bit different. But then you get, you know, a terrible looking CGI monster with that guy's face on it and cubes. So the cubes part, you know where there's cubes?
When there's a big holographic Tetris Infinity or whatever.
That was going to be the original monster.
How do you mean?
Like the creature that piloted the ship
Oh.
that got there.
He's like a Tetris? He's like a
No,
big
they
hologram
put the Tetris over the thing. They
Oh, okay.
they built something,
Okay.
and it harkens back to the book.
Oh.
Like it's blue and whatever. Here's a picture of it. Lawrence will put it in.
Right. Has the thing hijacked this spaceship then? Is the pilot of the spaceship a different species than the thing?
Okay,
Is the thing like a possum that's just in the air ducts or something?
okay. So I'm glad you asked that because let's talk about the thing, and I can explain this.
Because we still don't know.
We still don't
We've
really
done
know.
We've done 2.5 of these videos, if we're
Yes.
including the old one where the guy just gets set on fire.
Yep.
Where the Frankenstein gets set on fire.
Yes, that's right.
And we still don't really know what this guy's deal is.
No. So the original form is not the original form of the thing, of that blue monster, right? And the other thing that's kind of been determined is, and we talked about this last week, it's not a hive mind. It can communicate separately, but it has to come together and then it shares knowledge. It's
Okay.
almost like Multiple Man from Marvel.
It's okay. Now you're talking my language.
You know it. So yeah, they were going to have a bit at the beginning that was different, which would have shed light on how the ship got there.
Okay.
So there's going to be a prologue where the alien pilot purposefully crashed the ship onto Earth. By the way, aim for the sun, idiot. What are you doing? I don't know.
It's only 93 million miles away.
Yeah,
Come on.
man. Come on.
Easy. Steering wheel slightly to the left. You'll get it. It's
You'll
fine.
get it. It's fine.
really big.
It's huge, mate. You can't miss it. Which would basically mean that it kills itself.
Uh-huh.
And then another alien on that ship, which was turning into the thing, exits, gets frozen, and that's the one that's found.
Okay, sure.
If
right.
that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah. It's kind of like the start of Alien versus Predator Requiem.
Yeah, it is absolutely like that, yeah. Here's some footage.
Yeah.
It's just a black screen.
Let's play the whole thing.
Okay.
It's just black, though.
It is
Can't see
really
a goddamn thing.
It's difficult. Okay, so I'm getting a picture. It is kind of like the alien xenomorph. No, I mean, not really, but it's spreading. It's spreading like a virus.
Yeah, I imagine it, and people have kind of posited this theory before that I think it's like a primordial kind of like swamp amoeba kind of thing.
Okay, sure.
And then it's slowly evolved by getting into different creatures
okay.
over potentially millions of years.
Yeah, right.
I think its original form would probably be a sludge, honestly.
Sure, a sludge, yeah.
And they could have called it the sludge.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is a good name for a movie.
Yeah, so I mean, again, I get the sense that again, it didn't build this spaceship. It's sort of
No.
It's like you said, it's
It's a possum.
a possum. Yeah, and not a nice one like in Australia.
No.
one of the mean ones like
One of
in
the
America.
mean American ones rooting around in the garbage cans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's interesting also, at the end, it's revealed that Joel Edgerton is also the thing
Mm-hmm.
because he doesn't have his earring in.
I mean, we never see it turn into the thing. She
No.
does set him on fire, and he goes ah, ah! And then she goes, I'm leaving.
He does scream like the Thing, though, a little bit. But that just might be the scream of a man on fire.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And maybe he's just picked up its accent. He's been around it too long.
But also, yeah, he...
Hey, before you kill me, let me do my Thing impression.
But he does go for the wrong ear. But also, like, if the Thing absorbs you and gets all your knowledge, you'd think it would know to not reach for that ear.
That's true.
Or you could just be like, it fell out when I was tackling the Thing.
Yeah, being a hero.
Being a hero, being a big hero. Into a rebellion.
Yeah, I don't think that's enough of a tell.
Yeah.
You might be like, hey, I switch ears sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a rebel. I switch ears with the earring depending on what bar I'm in.
And I think also there is a little bit of him in that, and not just the thing where in terms of his reaction, like it is kind of like a, oh shit. Almost like he
Didn't even know.
didn't even know, yeah. Which I quite like.
Yeah. Have we talked about the video game?
We are going to talk about the video game.
Whoa, right now?
No, before that we have to do Trivia Thing 2011.
Whoa.
The distress beacon used in this is very similar to the one used for the Icarus 1 in the movie Sunshine.
Whoa, you love that movie.
That's a great movie. We both love it. It's the best movie.
I remember it being pretty good.
I
But
remember
your
it being
constant
the best
banging
movie.
on about it means I don't want to revisit it.
We should do a Caravan of Garbage, which is just best movies of 2007.
Okay.
And then we can do a trilogy of films, and it's just Sunshine 3 times.
Wow.
You into that?
Yeah.
Cool. Who can it be now? Men at Work. It's in this.
Sure is. Australian
And
classic.
it's great because it's like, who can it be now? Who's the Thing?
Yeah, that's right.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
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 Do you think that's on
Probably
purpose?
the man from Brussels.
Do you think so?
6'4" and full of muscles.
He had a lot of muscles. That
You see
bloke,
that
didn't
guy?
he? Yeah.
Too many muscles.
Do you think so?
Sus, the Thing.
Oh, you think he was? Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Could have been Johnny
Yep.
from the song Be Good Johnny.
Yeah.
No, that's all the Men at Work songs I know.
That's all there are. He's in Scrubs.
Yeah, I know.
He's showing up.
Yeah.
Due to constant studio interference, director
Matthias Van Heinenen.
Junior, that's how I would have said it too, had such a negative experience with the film that he claimed that he lost his passion for filmmaking and retired for nearly a decade.
Damn.
One of the issues was that he had to battle with 5 or 6 different studio executives in charge of the project, which made it difficult to make any creative decisions. And you can definitely see that. I don't
Also,
know-
it must be nice to just be like, no, I'm going to quit my job for 10 years.
yeah,
I'll just be fine.
we should
Actually,
do that.
Couldn't.
Would we be fine?
No.
No.
We'd be destitute.
What if he lived under a bridge?
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
Be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caravan of garbage from a big pile of garbage.
This, of course, does have a spiritual sequel in Harbinger Down.
Oh, is it not The Thing, 1982?
No. That could be a sequel also, I guess.
Agreed.
So the creature effects supervisor on this, Alec Gillis. No
I think
relation.
you meant Alec Guinness.
No relation to Alec Guinness.
Shane Gillis?
Yeah, they are related.
Interesting.
So he crowdfunded and then made that film in a direct response to his special effects being papered over in this.
Oh, okay.
It's got Lance Hendrickson. Apparently it's all right.
There's no D in Henriksen.
It's got Lance Henriksen.
Thank you.
There's no Dan Hendrickson, Mason.
I know. I've been telling you for years.
I haven't seen it. I've been meaning to watch it. It does have a much lower budget than this.
Okay.
But,
Sounds bad.
But apparently it's got a lot of good redeeming qualities.
And a lot of gross stuff, probably.
Probably, yeah. Anyways, in terms of box office, on a budget of $38 million, it made 31.5.
That's a low budget.
Yeah.
I guess it's pretty high for like a, limited number of sets horror movie, but,
Yeah. You think it'd be more around the 60 to 80?
Yeah.
But are you forgetting that it looks bad for a lot of it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But are you forgetting that it looked better and then they put more over the top of that to make it look bad, so that adds to the money?
I am forgetting that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. But of course, if you are looking for a direct sequel, we talked about the comic books last week.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But there is, of course, a Thing video game which takes place directly after, not this movie, because then that's The Thing, but the original Thing.
Okay.
Came out in the early 2000s.
So are you a new guy? Are you a rookie that's shown up?
McCready is in it. It's like
Okay.
a squad-based shooter.
Nice.
There's moments where like you do interrogations and who's going to be the Thing, but I believe there's moments in that where you shoot a guy who will end up being the Thing, but you lose
don't-
the game for it.
Because you don't know he's the Thing yet.
No, I think you should be able to do that, right? Though.
Yeah, I think
But
so.
I guess it would throw out the rest of the game if you
Yeah.
just shoot everybody at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've played a little bit of it. I like it. It's a game they would never make now.
They should put that instead of the Nintendo seal of approval. It's just a little picture of you and you begrudgingly going, yeah, I
I played a little bit
I
of
liked
it.
it. I think I liked it.
I put it in the same category as there's a game based on The Great Escape.
Sure.
They just wouldn't make that now. It just wouldn't happen. And I just think it's a fun little thing. that they did that. How do you feel about the idea of a sequel to the original thing, though?
I would love it.
Coming back to it.
Yeah.
Because it was reported in 2023 at the Texas Frightmare weekend that John Carpenter said there would be a sequel.
Okay.
But
Go on.
at Nat Bremmer, he went on Twitter and he said, all right, so I was there. He wasn't even asked about the sequel. He asked who was the thing at the end and said, I've been sworn to secrecy. There might be a thing too. I don't know if there will be, but maybe. It was so offhand and such a non-announcement.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
yeah. John Carpenter talks all the time about how people remake and make sequels to his movies, including Halloween. And what is that thing he said? He just puts his hand out and then somebody puts a check in it or whatever. And he
Terrific.
goes, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't care about the Halloween Kills trilogy or whatever it's called.
But I'll take your money.
Yeah, he'll do it.
Good for him.
Wow, this has been an incredible look at the Thing trilogy. But the thing is, you can actually see these videos early at
The
Big
thing is-
at BigSandwich.co.
We've made that mistake many times in this video.
I agree.
But it was deliberate.
Yeah, no, we meant it. Here's a hint towards next week.
Father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
So yeah, you can see that early at BigSandwich.co, where you don't only get early videos, we do video game Let's Plays. I should do that Great Escape game.
Yeah.
We do movie commentaries.
We do bonus podcasts.
We do. We recently had a look at the Resident Evil 4 games.
That's right.
2 of them.
Yes.
If you want to head over and check that out. Also, we have a podcast called The Weekly Planet where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. That comes out every Monday if you are interested. It's on its own YouTube channel. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. We talk the movie news of the week. And then we do a big review, don't we, or something?
We do a big review.
Or a topic.
Yes.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Goodbye. Which of us was the thing?
Well, I wasn't the thing.
I also wasn't the thing.
Oh, that's kind of a boring reveal, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's not real, though.
Yeah. Could we say that guy walking past outside is the thing?
Yep. Hey, idiot!
Way to be the thing, idiot.
You suck!
Get a job that isn't being the thing.
Yeah, get a job, but that's coming from 2 guys under a bridge.